of the Real Estate Marketing Dude podcast. Folks, we are into another year, and then beginning of every year, we should probably do things a little bit differently than we were doing last year. In a very term that I love, I heard Jesse Itzler say once is, you are not ever growing unless you're making yourself uncomfortable or putting yourself in those different types of situations, or there's different types of rooms. So I get an email the other day. I seen this dude's podcast. I think we're probably like two birds of the same feather. I'm going to give you a freaking warning right off the bat. This might not be right for your ears. Apparently this dude swears more than I do. I didn't think it was possible, but I think we might have found our match today. So what we're going to do, but this guy is also a killer real estate agent, has a very successful podcast, and he's doing all the stuff he actually talks about. So we're going to go in there and chat about all different types of marketing tactics. What are you going to be doing in 2021? What should you not be doing in 2021? And everything in between. So without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce our guest, Mr. Greg McDaniel. What's up, Greg? And tell our listeners a little bit about yourself, and go ahead and take it.
Mike, thank you, man. I really appreciate being here. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Greg McDaniel. I've been a practicing real estate agent for 21 years. My father, I joined his team. He's been an agent for 50 years in 3 different states, top end producer. Joined him after I was a total complete screwball out of college, working in a warehouse. He brought me in, and so I started doing real estate. And you know what? I fell in love with doing videos, doing calls, doing doors, just producing on a high level. We work on a luxury market. We average, sales prices at least $1 million to $1.3 million, up to $5 million. I'm working on a deal for about 10 to 12 million, and we just took another listing for about 750,000. So we work in all different price ranges. But the thing that we're really going to talk about is really marketing today. Like how 2021 is going to be interesting, let's say the least. So how do you get ahead? And so, Mike, that's the kind of where I think we're going to take this conversation. Is that correct?
Yep. I would love to. Love that. I want to ask you a question right off the bat, because
Sure.
You're playing in the luxury space, and Greg and I just met. We don't have each other's phone numbers or anything like that. So, Greg, I'm just going to go off of what I see of your brand right off the bat.
Sure.
I see you as like a laid back dude. My guess is you're very personable, not super duper professional. Like, are you a suit type of guy?
Absolutely hard stop. No, I used to be. Here's the funny thing. I was walking out of my building yesterday, going to an appointment for a listing presentation. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to this $1 million presentation, and I'm wearing flip-flops. And thank you, COVID. This is not me. This is COVID. I have painted toenails. That's what you get for a girlfriend that wants to, try things.
My kid just painted my toenails. They were green for like 3 weeks. I finally figured out how to get that shit off.
Here's the best part about this is that I'm going to this multi-million-dollar listing appointment. I'm wearing a sweater, a t-shirt, khaki shorts, flip-flops, and painted toenails with a baseball hat on. And this chick bumps into me, literally physically bumps into me outside my building. And she's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah." We started talking. She's like, "What do you do for a living?" I said, "I sell real estate." She's like, "Oh my gosh, I love your toenails." I'm like, "I like yours too." She's like, "I love your flip-flops." I'm like, "I like yours too." She's like, "Give me your card. I need to sell my house, and I want to work with you because you seem like the type of person I want to work with." And it just kind of beat me over the head. I'm like, what in the blank is going on that you can get listings from having painted toenails, wearing flip-flops, in shorts, with a hoodie on and a baseball hat? And I met her
complete
for 5
stranger
minutes.
too. Yeah, stranger.
Complete stranger. And she thanked me like 10 times. Like, "Oh my God, I'm so thankful to run into you. This is amazing. The Father God upstairs is."
Were you even showered that
me.
day? Like, did you even brush your teeth?
No. Well, brushing my teeth, yes. Showering, not yet that day. But I mean, it's crazy how this marketing thing has shifted significantly in the COVID era, and probably ever forth.
I think it. Sorry, not to interrupt. COVID 100% amplified it.
Yeah.
But I got licensed in 2002, right after I graduated college. So
Nice.
a week before I was doing keg stands. And then a week later, I'm walking down Michigan Avenue with a suit on. And you're right. Traditionally, we were suit and tie type jobs. Like, Back then at 22 years of age in downtown Chicago, nobody's going to take you seriously to buy or sell a house unless you were dressed up. I couldn't pull that shit away back then. And you know that you couldn't just walk down the street in sandals and t-shirt and shirts in the early 2000s. But I think once social came, once Facebook became mainstream and all these different apps and platforms, people really started being real. And as we go into this topic of marketing, without authenticity, folks, your shit's never going to be real, and people are going to smell your bullshit from a mile away. And the truth is that when we look at our average of our clients and our client avatars, they're always spitting images of yourself. Like if Greg here goes out and if Greg goes to a bar, I guarantee you he's not the only dude at that table with their fucking toenails painted.
you know, it is so weird to actually have this conversation, to say like two men are having a conversation about marketing. We're talking about painted toenails, but the thing we're talking about is relatability. And that's the thing that people really need to get their heads around. The last several listings I've taken, look, I took a 1.8 and a $2 million deal. And guess what I did? I sat and I at a lunch with a guy. He and I had lunch for maybe 45 minutes. We talked about my SRT Jeep, his, Ford Raptor. We talked about politics. We talked about cars. We talked about, properties and dreams and everything else. And I walked away with with a handshake of a 1.8 and a $2 million deal. And I'm like, what in the hell happened? I took a $5 million listing last year. I sat down and talked to the guy about gas stations. Okay. And I was wearing Vans, jeans, and a t-shirt. It was just because we bonded, and I just asked for the business. I just literally said to them, I said, hey, so when do you want to get it on the market? And they looked at me.
Hey, wait, are you telling me that Greg, that's the script? Because I always see all these talks about scripts. Like, I need a script for this. I need a script for that. Folks, you need a script to have a conversation you don't know you're going to have yet. You're a fucking fraud. Period. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't need the script. You already know what the hell you're talking about. Conversion has nothing to do with real estate. My first sale, Greg, to talk to that point, this brings me back to the same time. This is funny. So my first sale was a condo in downtown Chicago. It's $420,000. Nice number. But the guy that I sold it to was an attorney. We had a kiosk at Water Tower Mall, and we would just have listings there. And we would sit there and strike up conversations with people. Right next to Fannie Mae chocolate. So they would ask, oh, what's this listing worth? What's this listing at? So I was always good at being a conversationalist. Like, I could get people to like me. That was my key, is like, if they like me, the chance of them using me is going to increase, right?
Yes.
Well, so it was always about finding common ground. So me and this attorney have nothing in common. Like, this guy was nerdy. You could tell he's a total square type guy, but guess what? He was in a fraternity, and I found that out within the first 10 minutes, and boom, I had him just like that. Nice. And we are still friends to the end of the day, but you're right. It's about finding the common ground. Let's get into marketing, because I think where we're going with this convo is that we're talking about I don't think marketing is effective without it being real and or authentic, especially in the world of social with video and all that stuff. And quite too often we try to be someone else that, quite frankly, we're not. We have to just be you. Like you're you. Like Greg, he's wearing a hat right now. It says Zillow Killer, and I guarantee you probably wear the same hat to the listing presentation that he goes on later on this afternoon. But that's what people really buy in our business, in my opinion, is confidence. And Greg, the fact that he could go in there and not give a shit, what people are probably really thinking psychologically are like, fuck, this guy's gonna get the job done, because look how he's got his shit together. Like, listen to him talk. Like, they're hiring him because they trust him. And people do judge a book by its cover, but you have to be able to have a way that inquires or intrigues them to open and dig deeper. And you're the only one probably doing this in your market, and that's why it's fucking working. People, you're different. You stand out. There's a million suits, and there's only one dude in sandals crushing it.
With painted toenails. Thank you very much. But it's really fucking true. The guy and gal who are wearing the sweatshirt or the yoga pants, they have the suits working for them because guess what? They're fucking comfortable with who they are and how they do their shit because they know what they're talking about. I can walk into any listing appointment. I can walk into any event anywhere, and I will be recognized for being me. They're like, you're Greg McDaniel. You're the guy that cusses all the time. You have that podcast. I'm like, yes, I do. And then they'll say, are you still selling real estate? Because we're thinking about selling our house. I'm like, I sure as hell am. Absolutely.
You
Let's
bet your
talk.
sweet ass I am.
And so it is just being you. Now, what does being you mean? That doesn't mean being Mike or Greg. It means being whoever you are. So if you're not a cusser, if you're not a guy who wears a hoodie and a sweatshirt and shorts and flip-flops and everything else, okay. If you want to rock the suit, if you want to rock the smoking hot dress, if you want to rock the rocking hairdo, dude, be you, because your tribe's going to come to you, and that's the most authentic thing about it. Don't ever try to be somebody else. And this is why I say this. When I got into the business 21 years ago, my father had been in it for 30 something years at that point, and he wore penny loafers, khaki pants, a striped dress shirts, and he combed his hair to the right, and he wore this special cologne. And so what did I do? I got penny loafers and I legitimately put pennies in them. No joke. Had the khaki pants, had the striped shirt, combed my hair the same way, wore the same cologne, and I tried to be something I wasn't. And it drove me banana cakes. Now, when I really came to the realization of like how I could really, be me, it was a couple of years ago. When I say a couple, I mean like 5. Or 4, yeah, 4 or 5, whatever it is. And my client, I was going to go show him about a $3 to $4 million property, and I said, hey man, like I'm really tired today. Is it cool if I come a little more casual? And he's like, I don't care. I'm cool. So I show up.
5 years ago.
Yeah, it was like 6 years ago or something like that. And I show up, and for me, casual at that point, because I was high and tight. I had the sports coat on, the custom shirts, the custom pants, the custom shoes. Like I was tricked out, right? And I show up and I put my Vans on. I put my khaki shorts on, and I put a polo shirt on. And no joke, his name is Elmer. He's hilarious. And I get there, I get out of my car, and Elmer literally says verbatim. He looks me up and down and goes, what the fuck, bro? Wear the board shorts and fucking flip-flops. I thought you're coming casual. And I'm like, oh, I can do this. This works. And my clients don't care. They don't care.
Yep. And then you probably said, hella yeah, because that's what
Hell
you
yeah.
say up there.
Hella.
Hella. That's hilarious. Very similar thing happened to me. So, folks, just look at your last 10 clients. Like you didn't close them and they're all just like you, and you guys became beer drinking buddies on accident. Like it's just how this business is. There's not a shortage of clientele out there either. Like everyone lives somewhere. No. Last I checked. And it's just a matter of like, I think this entire business is just referrals and relationships, and whatnot. Curiosity on it for you guys, how much of your business is coming from referral generation and versus like cold lead generation, like hardcore prospecting type techniques?
Good question. It's surprising. In 2021, I have seven deals right now that are running purely on people calling me back. And one of the deals like I went to yesterday, I sold his daughter's house in 2009. So it's been a minute, right? And his name is Dino. Dino called me up and was like, hey, Greg, you know what? We want to sell the house. I had 3 other people to give me other referrals. I have another 3 people that are coming around that are asking for market evaluations and stuff like that. People are coming back from doing some cold calls. I'd say the large majority are from past clients right now. We use a company called Clever Leads, spelled with a K. And Clever, they do a lot of text messaging, emailing. They have websites, landing pages, text follow-ups, all kinds of crazy shit. And that's generating a lot of business for us as well. It's insane, dude. Like I got a $1.8 million listing from a text message campaign that I've never met the seller in person. That's
cold lead generation.
Cold lead. That one's cold lead. Absolutely. 100%.
And so is it safe to say what, like 80-20? Let's compare the closings.
Sure. Yeah. That probably makes sense. I mean,
80 warm, 20 cold.
Yeah. Given with my father been in the business for 50 years, my business partner for 22 years, I'm 21 years. Our team admin's 15 or 16 years in the business with us. So, I mean, given there's going to be a little bit of a past client right there. So yeah. But you have to do both. You have to fill the top of the funnel and you have to nurture the bottom of the funnel, right?
Right. Well, I think the way I'd like to get your opinion on this, I think the way a lot of real estate agents approach their business is always based on lead generation as opposed to client nurturing and new introductions. And let me just go a little bit further um, with that is that I never viewed the closing as the time to spike the football. I looked at that as a bridge to the next transaction.
Right.
Right. And
100%.
quite often, a lot of people will just be like, oh, I got a closing. Fuck yeah. Just close. Instant Facebook post. Just listed, whatever the hell it is. Pat yourself on the back. Right. That's just what people do. But what you guys are very short sighted is that the average person buys 3 to 5 houses over the course of their lifetime. And if you can't retain them after transaction numero uno, you're a salesperson chasing checks. You're not a business person running a business.
Yeah.
Because you're not playing the long game. And unfortunately, that's just the way our industry has trained. I blame the damn gurus, but it's true, you guys. It's absolutely true.
I completely agree with you. We get so excited about the fact that we got one deal, but we didn't build a relationship. And so therefore, and I'm guilty of this. Don't get me wrong. I'm totally guilty of this myself in my business. I've done it. I'm probably gonna do it again in the future, but I'm trying to, be a recovering addict on doing that and building the long-term nurture relationships. I mean, I'm sitting right in front of me. I have a cookbook and I'm going to show this to you for everyone who's watching. This is something when it comes to long-term business relationships. This is built by my friends Todd and Linda. They gave me a cookbook of their favorite recipes. I sold their house for them like 15, 20 years ago. And I still go over to their house. I still have beers with them. They literally made me a cookbook of their favorite recipes because of the relationship that I've built with them. And that's where you really want to go strong on this. I have a good friend. Her name is Stevie. She's out of Jacksonville, Florida. She used to be afraid of the camera like you wouldn't believe. She now gets 85+% of her business from social media, because what she does, it's not just social media. Yeah, she's a cute blonde let's just say she's a cute blonde. We're going to leave it there. And you know what? She uses her looks for the positive things, right? But she also does an amazing thing with her personality, and this is what everybody can do. She goes online and then she takes it offline as fast as she possibly can. So it's like she's talking to this guy or this gal or whatever else. She goes like, "Oh my God, would you like to go do a yoga class? Let's get a cup of coffee." Or she has a little dog. Like, let's go walk our dogs together, or whatever it is. And that builds rapport so fast because you go from a personality to a human. Once you go from a personality to a human, all of a sudden you become relatable. Once you become relatable, then you become reliable. Once you become reliable, then you become trustworthy. Now people are going to work with you. And it's just starting. So, I mean, do we want to jump into a little bit kind of what's going on with the kind of some stuff that we're doing in our in our market?
One more point I just add. You don't get successful just getting on social media. Social media is just the channel. It's the medium to display your message. It's how you interact on social media that people remember, not just being on it. Go ahead, Greg.
Sure. So I have a friend. Her name's Monica Weekly. I call her Coach Monica. A phenomenal human being. She has a company called Ghost Poster. And the thing I like about Ghost Poster, I've been using it, it's about $200 a year. And they email you every day at 4 a.m. Or around there, and they'll give you something to post on your Instagram and Facebook stories. And so one of the things that she challenged me to do when she was on my show the last time, she's like, "Greg, you need to post one personal, one professional post every single day. That's all you have to do. Share it from Instagram to Facebook, and then just let the audiences grow." And I'm like, well, okay. I mean, I'll try that. I have no problem with that. And so I got excited about it and I started doing it. I'll tell you one thing, dude, I went from 300 views on my Instagram and Facebook stories to like 600, 700, 800, to 1,000, 1,300, almost 2,000 views, because I'm consistently and persistently showing up. And people are they're seeing that I'm a real estate professional in some way, shape, or form. Either it's a funny story or a funny video or funny, photo. But then there's something, maybe it's me getting done from my run that I try to do every day. I didn't do it today. I'm going to be honest with you on that one. I'm a lazy bastard today, but it also was just raining. But, I'd be out there huffing and puffing and be like, oh, all right, guys, I just got done with my 4 miles and 200 push-ups and 30 burpees. And whew, that was a rough one today. Let me know what you guys did for your workout along those lines, right? So I'm humanizing myself, and as long as I'm allowing people to still know that I'm actually doing real estate, because with the podcasting and all the other variables that I'm out there on, people are like, oh my, I think you just retired. I'm like, I did not retire. And I lost listings because people didn't know that I was still in the business, even though I'm actively in the business. So for 2021 and moving forward, humanize yourself, but be persistently and consistently allowing people know that you're still in the business. Show people, but do not fucking post a flyer of your new listing. I mean,
Yes.
I want to shoot someone in the face when they do that. It's just like, you understand you're not creating a relationship. You're just boasting about yourself and bragging about your accomplishments. And when in reality, you could in turn, and versus, going out there and posting a flyer about your new property, I could say, hey, Mike, I'm Greg McDaniel of eXp Realty. You know what? I'm super excited to be, listing a new property. You're at 123 Main Street. Tell me your 5 favorite things about your property, and allow you to talk about it, humanizing you, humanizing the property, allowing me to communicate with the audience and to a core level. Because who gives a flying fuck if it's going to be 4 walls and a roof? Tell me something that I don't know. Like, oh my God, you had your second child in the bathtub? That's amazing. Wait, all of your neighbors come out on 4th of July and you guys have a barbecue, cook off in the cul-de-sac? That's incredible. Wait, your son broke his nose trying to sneak out of the house, like jumping over the backyard? These things come alive. All of a sudden, people relate to you. Since when they do that, now you have a relationship. Now you can start really getting relationships.
Such a good point. Like, I bet you could just take a picture of the bathtub and be like, yep, this bathroom's beautiful. But what most people don't know is what went down here 2 years ago. And someone didn't die. It was quite the opposite. Some kid was born in that bathtub. That would do very well versus like us listed. Look at this beautiful bathroom.
Yeah. I mean, imagine that story. Hey guys, back in 2002, April 5th, at 1:45 a.m., can anybody tell me what took place in this bathroom? Yes, no deaths. Tell me what happened.
Right.
Get the conversation going, right? Let people know. Then you share it with them. They share it with their friends. Their friends share it with their friends. All of a sudden becomes a viral thing. Goes, oh my God, Mike was born there. I remember that. That was amazing. I got the text message. That was such a great memory.
Yep.
Now your home just came alive, guys. You just built a personality about that room. And now when the buyer goes in and they see that, and the agent, if they are paying attention, they watch that, all of a sudden they can tell that story. Because let's say Mr. and Mrs. are expecting or want to start a family, or maybe they have kids. You tell that story. Back on this date at this time, this is what took place right here. And people are like, holy fuck, are you for real? Because you're looking at an empty tub, but there was something amazing that happened there, or anything else. Or like, hey, my wife and I moved in here. We're broke was a joke, but we scrounged our pennies together. We're able to afford it. We bonded together as a team. We made it happen, and we built this beautiful home. And this is what we created. This is what it was. This is what it is now. It's just creating that story behind the property. A property is sterile. A story is full of life. Which one do you want to tell? Hi, I have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house on 1,200 square feet on a 1/4 acre. It's listed at $500,000. Or you tell the stories like we just told. Guess who's going to pay attention? They're going to pay attention. Item B.
Yep. Very well said. 100% all about storytelling. I just don't understand why people don't post like the stories of their closings and the journey of the client and all that. I still don't get it. Those are the most effective pieces of content. What else are you guys seeing success in your other avenues? Because and then here's another question: is that as Greg's coming through here, what people don't realize is that the content that you create that lives long on your channels and your feeds and even on your website and your YouTube channel and wherever else you multi-purpose and or or post, quite often that's the very content that converts the leads that you're generating on the front end, because those quote unquote leads, trust me, do you not think they're fucking looking you guys up? Or you really think they're just going to call a stranger? Like, look at your own buying habits.
Right.
I'm not just going to go call someone without first seeing what they look like. Usually nowadays, that's just what people do.
Right.
So how often have you seen that? Because you're out there creating this humanizing content, personalizing your brand from the lead gen you're doing. How important is that to have that additional content up there? Because, and then are the leads then more likely to be, dude, I don't know why I called you. You just stood out, man. I just wanted you to, I just felt like you something there, Greg. It might've just been like this super inner energy, bro. Like I just connected with you, man. You get that a lot?
I get very similar conversations. Let's put it that way. One of the things that we do quite often is that I work with a company called Viral Marketing, and what we do is I record with my coach Paul every Friday, and we create videos, and actually it's every other Friday now. I thought it was supposed to be every Friday, but it's every other Friday. And we push out videos every 2 weeks out to my database, and that keeps me relevant. Then they give me a click through sheet on the back end, so I know who's clicking on the one who wants to buy, who wants to sell, who opened the video, who watched the video, a lot of other metrics. And so then I have the ability, then I take that over to Clever Leads, and then I will have my ISA or my VA, my virtual assistant. I will have them reach out to them on my behalf, and I'll just say, hey, thanks so much for watching the video. What was your favorite part about it? What can I do to assist you? So on and so forth. So I'm staying very, very active in regards to one, social media videos, two, it's going to be social media posting, and three is going to be videos to my database. So my database will then keep me in mind. I have a guy, his name is Hussein, just one of the nicest human beings you've ever met in your freaking life. He's a holistic medicine facility, and I did a video about a seafood restaurant. Unfortunately, he'd gone out of business because of COVID now. It's called Scott Seafood. And I went out to see him a couple of months ago, and he was just like, Greg, how are you? I'm like, Hussein, how are you, my friend? He's like, good. I hadn't seen him like 5 years. Okay. He's like, I just saw your last video about Scott Seafood. My wife and I used to go there all the time for our anniversaries. I'm sitting there going like, what the fuck? I didn't even know you fucking I had your email. Like, oh my God, it's incredible. But with all those different video techniques that I'm talking about right now, those have been incredibly impactful. Now, Viral Marketing is not a cheap organization. They're very effective, but they're not cheap. So look into if you don't, if you want to or not. But the other stuff we're talking about with, social media, stories and social media posting are 100% free. Clever Leads, what's really, and this is mind blowing when it comes to what they've done for me. When I first launched with them, we started out with an expired campaign, and we launched 124 expireds through a text campaign. Obviously we're complying with DNC and everything else. We're not violating anything. We launched 124, 90 of them landed. Within literally like 3 to 10 minutes, I was in conversation with up to 50 of the respondents. We have anywhere from a 40 to a 70% response rate every single time we do a campaign launch with them.
Yep.
And then
I've seen that on tax with investor leads too, and motivated
it's insane.
sellers. Yep.
It's insane. This is the stuff I never thought would work, but it's working like gangbusters. And here's the other thing. I use Redx for my calls. I do a triple line dialing. And what I found with them is that even with COVID, people are so receptive to have a phone call, even though everyone thought phones were dead. Dude, that is completely 100% wrong in my experience, because they're dying for a communication. There's like, yep. Please, baby Jesus, give me a conversation with a human. I'm tired of talking with my 5-year-old who asks me for like 20,000 questions every single minute. Like, let's have an adult conversation for half a minute. It's incredibly powerful, and people are so thankful.
Very, very right on, dude. What else you think's coming? What I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, content, authenticity mixed in with consistency. Folks, yes. It's not a real estate thing. It's any business thing.
Yeah.
It's just any business thing. I sell video services, And you guys who listen to the podcast, you like on my site, I retarget you until you're fucking have a conversation with me, period. Right. So it's the same thing. It's because I have to hit you from YouTube. I have to hit you from IG and Facebook. And then just, you don't know when the pain point hits, but typically when someone makes a buying or decision, especially when they're doing a real estate one, 78% close with the first agent they meet with, which is why top of mind is everything.
Yeah. There's a really interesting new app. Not a lot of people have heard about it. It's called Clubhouse, and it's on Apple only right now. But they're going to be coming out to Android. It's back for all of us that are listening that were old enough to remember this. Remember when we did those party calls and we'd all get onto a number and then we'd all be able to sit there and talk and it was all noisy and shit because you didn't have mute and it's a fucking disaster. But this is like a professional version of those calls. It is fascinating to watch this thing grow, and your visibility can go from 0 to 1,000 like instantly, literally overnight.
Yep. Very good point. I'm all over Clubhouse. I'm starting TikTok, and those are the places where we're seeing you build awareness right now and retarget them on the other traditional platforms. But that's where you're going to get found right now, folks.
Yeah.
On those two platforms.
Also, YouTube Shorts. I'm just starting to dive into those. So if you're doing Instagram stories, Facebook stories, IGTV, Facebook posts, YouTube Shorts, and TikToks, which I'm sorry, I'm not out there going to go shake my ass on TikTok. We're still trying to wrap my head around that one. But it works. These platforms work. And if you're starting out and you're looking for an opportunity to do some marketing, like Mike always talks about on his show, guys, these are fucking free. They don't cost you any money. And you can get out there and have the most visible opportunity of your lifetime. If you're young, middle-aged, or old, get the fuck on these apps and pick one that works for you and just start doing it. I have my good friend, her name's Alyssa. If you go to TikTok and you look at Color My Credit on TikTok, guys, she has like over 400, almost 500,000 followers.
The credit repair chick?
Yeah.
Nice.
Dude, she talks about
probably the most boring topic ever. And she's got 400,000 people following her. Yeah.
Following her. And she's getting money. And I'm like, Alyssa, how in the hell are you getting leads from this? She's like, Greg, you're looking at it wrong. And I'm like, okay, well, how am I looking at it wrong? And she's like this, Greg, I'm not going after the parents. I'm going after the kids. I'm like, well, now you just sound like a pedophile. She's like, no, you silly. What I'm saying is that the younger, group of folks that are watching TikToks all the time, they don't know anything about credit. They don't know anything about loans. So I'm educating them on what I'm doing and how to do it the right way and answering questions and doing live calls and live group calls with them. Once they learn, then they tell their parents. And once the parents learn, then the parents call her. And I'm like,
yep,
that's genius. Holy shit.
Still a referral off of content creation.
All content, man. It's you don't, like my hat says, Zillow killer. My boy James, the Zillow killer, go look him up. He the reason why he was named this is because his whole thing was stop paying Zillow, who's, by the way, in complete and total direct competition with you at this point. So why the fuck are you paying them money to buy leads from someone who's your competitor? That makes absolutely no sense. But he teaches people how to go out there and create videos, how to be out there on social and everything else. You can learn this stuff, guys. It's not hard. Go to Social Media Examiner. Social Media Examiner, Mike Stelzner founded it. He's out of San Diego, where you are, Mike. That guy, he's a beast. And their organization gives away so much content on how to be social media savvy. Like the free stuff hurts your head. I mean, I can't even imagine the paid stuff.
The education is out there, you guys. It's just a matter of whether or not you want to be willing to learn it. And I have yet, I don't know if you've seen the same thing, but I have yet to meet anybody. And it's not just in real estate. I've yet to meet anybody who starts creating content, doing video consistently, just basically putting themselves out there and making a splash. I have yet to meet one person it hasn't worked for.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
And part of it is because no one else is doing it. Part of it, it's just it's building your personal brand. But folks, there's an opportunity right now to steal the attention away from those traditional dinosaur type agents who haven't yet quite caught on to any of this stuff. There's quite a bit of them out there. I bet you in your market, you are, I'm just going to take a wild guess is that you're in your market that your competition is a bunch of veteran agents, probably been in the business 15, 20, 30 years, and half of them have blue hair.
Yeah.
And you're just doing it differently. And that's the opportunity that you guys have right in front of your, right in front of your face right now. It's right in front of you guys. It's a matter of whether or not you want to grab it.
Here's the funny thing. One of the top agents in my marketplace, this individual follows me on everything on social media. I know this motherfucker is stealing my shit, but that's totally fine with me. And that's a compliment, right?
Yep.
That means that they appreciate what I'm putting out. I got stopped in the bank the other day. This guy, like and this is before COVID, so it's not the other day, but he's like, Greg? And I'm like, yeah, what, who are you? He's like, you don't know me, but I've been following you on everything that you do. And I just want to come over and just say, I really appreciate it. And you're putting out some great content and kind of pick your brain about blah. And I'm like, that's fucking cool. Okay. Well, yeah, man, I'm totally down to talk. I had another guy, I ran into a guy in Starbucks. I was going to meet a client who actually didn't show up. I don't know what happened to the client, but it was probably very serendipitous. This guy was walking in at the exact same time I was, and he was just eyeballing me hard. And I'm like, did I date your daughter in high school? I mean, what the fuck did I do to you? And he and I opened the door and we did the little hellos and blah, blah, blah. And I get in line and
you almost think he's mean mugging you, but he's really admiring you.
He was. And then, so I he gets out of the bathroom, comes in line behind me. We started, and then he's like, you know what? You don't know me, but I know you. I've watched everything you do online. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Slightly creepy, but I'm very pleased that you know you're watching everything I'm doing. How can I help you? Dude, broke it down. He's a real estate investor. He and I started rapping. We shared a cup of coffee. He drank his, I drank mine. And at the end of it,
you guys
we walked.
Share straws though. That's nice to know.
No straw sharing. No straw sharing. But we walked away and I made a friend, and I didn't even know I had a friend based upon the fact that I consistently put out video content. You don't know who's watching. You never know who's watching. And people will get to know you through your personality, doing the videos on social media, the videos of your database, the text messages, the calls, and then just reaching out to your past contacts and just going like, hey guys, I suck. I have not reached out to you in a while, and that is my fault. I'm a horrible human. How's life? How are the kids? How's the wife? How's the husband? And just saying hi. Doing those, man, you're never going to lose. You're never going to lose.
100% agree. Well, dude, this is a really, really, really good episode, folks. Take the advice we have here and take action on it. And more importantly, check out this dude's show. For any of you guys who have been listening each and every week, check out his show. I'm going to be making an appearance on theirs in the next couple of months or so as well. But Greg, why don't you go ahead and let them know where your show's at? Let us know how people can reach out to you, contact you. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Mike, I really appreciate it, man. This is such a phenomenal podcast, and I'm just absolutely honored beyond belief to be here and be a guest of yours. The show that we've been hosting for about 5.5, almost 6 years is called Real Estate Uncensored. I started it because I wanted to give everybody all the information they could possibly ever get from marketing without having to pay a damn dime. It's 100% free. You'll never get billed or charged from us ever. Also, if you want to just kind of follow some of the weird shit I do, go ahead and reach out to me on Instagram, and I'm Greg McDaniel. Then the 3 letters REU for Real Estate Uncensored on Instagram, and then just Greg McDaniel on Facebook if you want to see some of the crazy stuff. I do live calls. I'm starting that up. Actually, we're recording this on a Friday. So actually, I'll be starting it probably next Monday. I do a show called Beers and Calls. And it's when I get on, I drink a beer. So I don't know why beers just sounds better, but it's called Beers and Calls. I get on, I drink a beer, and I do live prospecting calls live on Facebook. And I let you guys see my scripts. I let you see my wins. I let you see my fails and everything else. So you guys can really kind of see how I'm doing some of my own personal prospecting on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. So Mike, thank you for the opportunity.
Appreciate it, man. And thank you guys for listening to another episode. Folks, you guys know how to find me. If you want to create a video strategy, have a script, edit, and distribute your content, we'll make you stand out, become the local celebrity in your market. And best yet, it won't cost you an arm and a leg either. Only thing we do is create content that reminds people on who the fuck you are so they don't forget. And as long as you have that attention, guess what? You're going to attract business unless they don't like you. But like I say on every week, you're just in the wrong damn business then. So thank you for listening to the show. Go ahead and follow us on all of our channels. We do have a Clubhouse show. For those of you who are on Clubhouse, go ahead and tune in. It'll be Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, going consistently each and every week going forward. And it's a great channel. Come in there and pick out brains, get Q&A. We are always going in and out of there. And also follow us on all the channels here. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Instagram, and the Facebook. And we are now on TikTok. So go ahead and follow us there as well. Appreciate you guys. That's it for this week. We're going to wrap it up. We'll see you next week on another episode of Real Estate Marketing Dude. Peace.